a great pleasure to see you again. I was asked to speak in Greek, but I just wanted to do the greeting in English. The last 9 months that I've met you, apart from it being an honor to work with you, I've seen that you really care about rural development, and you really care about areas like Greece, which have basically small-scale farms, and the problems of the people that work in the agricultural sector are very much in your heart. And I want to thank you, starting this conversation, I want to thank you for all your efforts from the very important post that you hold in Brussels. And I hope these few hours that you will spend in Athens will show you quite a lot, both of the problems that we face at this point, and specifically with the big fires that we had this summer, and the climate crisis problems that we face, but also the means that we have in order to implement the new C.A.P. and our dreams for the next generation of agricultural development. Αγαπητέ Νίκο, είναι μεγάλη χαρά να
Dear Nikos, it's a great pleasure to be with you and be able to stand next to you and talk about agricultural development, although you have a great a broader spectrum of areas you're dealing with. I know you keep rural development and agricultural development in your heart, and it's important that you hold this position.
Cottogni, it's a great pleasure to see you again, and we had a nice discussion. I hope that we'll be able to work together for the loans that we're trying to create for our people here in Greece. Αγαπητή κυρία Voumvaki, δεν είχα τη χαρά να σας.
Mrs. Jessie Voumvaki, I haven't had the pleasure of meeting you in the past. I hope that this will be a good opportunity that we have today, and hopefully the National Bank of Greece will become a major player in the sector, because this is part of our objectives. We want to create new tools for our farmers, for our producers. I shall not address each and every one of you separately, because allow me to do that, because you have significant positions and you've done a lot of things so far. I shall call you friends, all of you. And before I start, I would like to say that it's, again, a pleasure for me to be here with you today and speak about the new Common Agricultural Policy and the Green Deal. And I would like to congratulate Mr. Balakakis on this initiative of his, which basically strengthens our own effort to highlight the importance of the agricultural economy and of the primary sector and its transformation as a main pillar of the Greek economy. And as you can see, all of us are trying to do that. We believe it's going to flourish in the next decade. So through congresses of the kind like yours, I think that you give that enough room to further develop. So the theme of this conference, we're speaking about this transition, the food and farming system's green and digital transition to access. So the digitalization, adjustment to digitalization, and more environmentally friendly practices, green practices, both of these will determine our success in the future. These needs, these challenges, one might say that are necessities of our times, and this has been a result that we got from the negative crisis we've experienced in the past few months with the pandemic of COVID-19, which presented the need to utilize modern technologies, what we're basically doing today, because this is an online event as well. The climate crisis, again, showing its presence through extreme weather conditions, demanding a future that is going to be more environmentally friendly, greener. Otherwise, there will be no future for us. So all of these has to do with the primary sector. It affects the primary sector, which is under a very crucial point in time, because after a series of years of having taken a specific course, it needs to adjust to the current data, the data of today. We have the increase of the global population, the changes in consumption leading to an exhaustion of the natural resources such as the water and the soil, land. And then the changes in the models and the food models asking for high nutritional value foods, and then the increase in trade with further complexities in the sales of products, then the need for more resilient food chains, and of course what I mentioned earlier on, the climate crisis, which brings about some more frequent distractions and natural disasters, and the digitalization which leads us to precision agriculture by allowing us to increase our production while at the same time achieving lesser of an impact on the environment. All that shows us that we need to change the path we're walking. We need to have more environmentally friendly systems and methods. In this context, in order to achieve a sustainable kind of development, we need to examine and re-examine, revisit our production models, meaning the way in which we produce and we consume. So we need to see what the government of Mr. Mitsotakis is trying to do all over the country. We need to structure a new development framework with sustainable solutions, respecting the environment, and as I said earlier on, again, thank you for this Congress, strengthening the primary sector as a direct or indirect protagonist. In this context, the European Union is a leader because the Green Deal has placed at the centre the protection of the environment. So the new Common Agricultural Policy incorporates the basic principles of the Green Deal for a climate neutral Europe and moves on to the farm to fork strategy. So we want to reduce the environmental footprint. We want to have the proper measures to strengthen our resilience, to reduce emissions, and to have environmentally friendly methods. We need to take measures to avoid desertification, prevent desertification, to improve irrigation waters, use fertilizers, and to reduce the waste. Within the ministry, we've worked in all these directions. This is not what you asked me to speak about, but at a central level, Greece started earlier than most other countries to move in this direction, and we've been trying to set up a committee which is going to produce its outcomes, the outcomes of its research, and leading to the first climate law. The new CAP, with the 9.3 billion that our country has at hand, is a unique opportunity for us to reshape the agriculture sector. This money was not for granted, and we all know that we're making a true effort, that the government did its best to guarantee these amounts of money. When in Europe there was a reduction in the funds, a reduction of approximately 15%. So this success of ours is something that we want to make the most of. We don't want that to go to waste. We want to utilize it as much as possible. So we further specialize the new CAP based on our country's needs, and we structure our own national plan, which we will submit at the end of December, based on the new Common Agricultural Policy, the new CAP. And I've seen here many of the councillors we have at the ministry dealing with the support of the bureaucratic aspects of this proposal. And we have made suggestions for transformations and reforms, so there will be no historic rights from 2022. There will be specific steps up to 2026, putting an end putting an end to the inequalities of the past, to the distortions of the past. We strengthen the small, medium enterprises and plots of land yieldings by reversing the unequal distribution of funds, due to which so far 30% of the beneficiaries of this subsidy receives 90% of the resources. I think that this is something that the Commissioner wants to do, strengthen SMEs. Then we also support specific sectors of production which are dealing with competition problems and competitiveness problems. We're going to do that up to 2023 through reforms based on the enhancement of productive directions. In this case, we're dealing with cattle breeding, laying a lot of emphasis on that, protein cultivations, etc. Number 4, we incorporate into the strategic plan that we develop various strategies that will be environmentally friendly, climate friendly, moving on to the implementation of ecological schemes. Number 5, we invest in young farmers by increasing by 50% the percentage of the overall budget of the new CAP, and we basically want to create a framework that will attract more young people in the agricultural sector. We want them to be given the opportunity to have a better life, to increase their livelihoods and their income through unique products in a unique area, in a picturesque area that will allow them to improve the quality of life. Number 6, the bioproducts again, the farm to fork. This is something we want to do to increase the value added of our products. And we want to make the prices of these bioproducts more accessible to the Greeks. Number 7, the training and the education. The AKIS system, modern framework that covers indeed the needs of our farmers and producers at 3 tiers: education, training, and consultation services and research. So here we've clearly understood that we need the training of the advisors, meaning lifelong learning for those that actually support our farmers. On top of that, we also shape a cohesive strategy on agricultural development, aiming for sustainability and the preservation of biodiversity. In the context of this strategy, we are transforming the Greek agriculture sector. We invest through the EU Recovery Fund with the 2 programs, the 2 schemes that we have, for the unification of our digital infrastructure and for smart agriculture. We invest in the natural resources, we spoke about that earlier. We intensify the controls and the testing for the products, for the producers, to avoid distortions in the market, and adulteration, and we want to have a strict framework and changing the landscape and strengthening the true farmers and producers. We strengthen and enhance the producers and the cooperatives. We want to open up the primary sector to real investment. We want to change the way in which our ministry works. We want our ministry to be more friendly to investment. We believe that the primary sector is truly inspiring and has a lot to offer. We believe we should be more extrovert in our policies. There was a huge gap in our sector in the past. We need, on a bilateral, on a multilateral level, we need to have dynamic foreign policies for our products and for producers. Again, we strengthen the training and the education, and we shape an integrated program on the Greek diet. Mrs. Trichopoulou is with us, and she spent her entire life devoting her life to Are you here? Yes, here she is. I know you have some complaints, but I wish I could solve your problems on my own. It's not up to me. But in the same logic as you and Mr. Trichopoulos works in the past, we're trying to have an umbrella policy covering our entire spectrum of work within the ministry, having a strong brand name for our products based on the documentation you've been working on. So, technology, environment, education, these three aspects will allow us to improve opportunities in the agri-food sector. What we want to do is to have a diversified model in the agri-food sector, laying emphasis on clean, green and smart agriculture production. We believe that through environmental protection and by promoting circular economy and through the implementation of new and the application of new technologies in agriculture production, we lay the foundations for the future of agri-food, so that in the future we can make our vision come true for the agri-food sector, which is our vision to upgrade the positioning of the Greek farmers in the agri-food chain, make the Greek farmers proud of themselves, believe in what they can do, promote the relationship between the Greek diet and health and longevity and the well-being, our culture, our civilization, the locality, our history, tourism, gastronomy, and to link and associate the processing factor, the processing of our agricultural produce with exports. This is a broader strategy. If you have any questions, you can ask them. Unfortunately, we are not here, it's not our sector that can deal with the increase, with the rise in the prices of energy and fuel, but we work in that direction. There's been an amendment that was voted on for the PV systems up to 400 kilowatts, from 400 to 100. There are power plant units that can be utilized. We cannot reduce taxes in all sectors, but we believe that as we broaden the economy, there will be more fiscal possibilities of doing that, and we create infrastructure so that in 2023, 2027, we can in fact strengthen animal feed, the production of animal feed in Greece, so as not to depend on countries abroad. We provide incentives. We've reduced up to 10% the taxation in collective schemes so that people can work together in partnerships. And we're open to any material, substantial proposal that might be achieved to the extent that we can. And we believe that we've done that during the past year and a half. We are close to producers, farmers, to any real and actual need they might have, talking about frost, wildfires, the overheating in the summer. In the past, things took a long time. It took them 2 or 3 years to provide funds, but within a few weeks we've managed to give farmers the funds they need to go on. Then, of course, the rise of prices is something that is global as a problem. And we believe that the staff of the ministry has a plan for all of that so that we can deal with the increase in prices as a result of COVID-19. We're here to support those in need in due time. Thank you very much for your attention. and I'll be looking forward to listening to the other presentations.